activate and let go. So when you let go of this leg, if there's anything holding on, you really want to get it loose, free. The muscles are there to move the bones, right? When we move the bones and we get them into place, then they actually can relax. So let's inspect that for a moment. Shift your weight. Turn your knee out. Gazing point, stable spine. Four corners to the foot. The arch is lifting. If you're having a hard time with the arch, you lift the kneecap, right? The muscles can actually keep the weight out of the knee or out of the joints. What happens when we're in a malalignment is we're putting all this weight into our joints, and unfortunately we don't develop the correct musculature to keep the weight out of the joints, like our low back, right? You keep your ribs off your low back. Over time, if we have any deviation, right, it will start to wear down your joints. Yeah, your body will start to fight itself because it needs space. The yoga practice is a beautiful place to turn to for that space. Mindful breathing. The leg advances up the thigh to the thigh if you'd like it to. Gazing point. Find your middle. Find your ability to concentrate. It's irrelevant as to what you're looking at because all of the information or all of the attention is actually turned back into the inner landscape, right? And within you are rivers and streams and oceans, continents and mountains. And is it a big deal if you fall out? Hell no, it's not. It's a practice. And so we just keep coming back, just like if we lose our concentration. The way we develop it is we just keep coming back. Really nice toning to the ankle. Shake that out. Find Samasthiti. So I'm going to do something that brings our heart rate up just a little bit, and then we're going to do a breath exercise that actually it also brings our energy level up a little bit, right? So first of all, we're going to take our arms and we're going to push them down. Now, I made that sound, but I really don't want to. Now you can do a huh. Ha. Ha. When you do that huh, embrace here. Ha. So you can actually tone your abdominals with sound. Ha. That's right. Ha. 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 So this will lift your heart rate. Now, if you feel like either when you swing your arms up or swing them down, that you feel a little light underneath your feet, and I'll invite you to imagine it first. Does it feel like you want to, maybe, the hot beat is totally optional, but if you think it would be light and you could stealthily land, right? The muscles actually take the strength or the force, not your knees, so you keep them micro bent. If it hurts you in any way, I choose not to do what causes me pain. That might be a new year's resolution, but let's not wait till the new year. Let's make it now. Ha. Ha. So jumping is an option. And I tend to like to jump or hop because it's like we're springy, right? I tend to when my arms are coming down, but some people really resonate when the arms come up. And then we'll stop that and find Samasthiti quickly. Breathe and recover. Good. We're going to do like 3 different rounds of Kundalini breathing. This isn't always easy for people to learn. You're using the musculature around the lower belly, solar plex. So what you want to do is create the ability to, and it's a command of your own breath. Inhale, it's a sharper, like, that you expand really quick, and then you exhale, and you pull back through your navel. Okay, you can do this in standing, sitting, all the different ways. I'm going to choose to reach my arms. This is also optional. 60-degree angles. Bring the fingers in. Relax your shoulders. You're working on your stand all at the same time. You're grounded with your feet. You're expanded with your arms and your body. So I close my eyes a lot when I do this, but if you want to open your eyes, gaze at the tip of your nose. This stimulates the pituitary gland again. keep going. I just want to talk for a moment. I always want to talk, right? But what we want to do is start with a mantra in our head, so it's a silent one. And as you breathe in, you're going to think Sat, and when you breathe out, Nam. Inhale, big pelvic floor. This is Mahabandha now. Pelvic floor, navel center, and the throat lock. So imagine that with all three of those seals, you can kind of put pressure on your spine here and take your attention to the crown of your head now. When you're ready, find your thumbs and open your fingers, and then exhale, relax your arms all the way down. Good. It shifts things pretty quickly. This is the Kundalini, we're really firing off this energy inside of us is likened to nuclear power. Okay, hands come open, shoulders will grip the deltoids here. You're stable from your waist down. Technically, your spine does not revolve like this until about, it's above your lumbar, okay, into I think it's the third vertebra on your thoracic spine, so that longer part. So you really want to go waist down, you're stable. And then you're going to turn, inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Push into your feet, feel the four corners, stay grounded. So you can keep your gaze forward and just move your torso, or you can move your head, finding two gazing spots to turn and see. So to do this, when you exhale, you're really pulling back through your belly. Find center, inhale, Mahabandha. When you're ready to exhale, extend the arms, turn them face down or palms down, and relax your arms completely. Breathe in through the nose. It may even increase your capacity to breathe better. Good, so this last one, I'm actually going to do kneeling on my knees, but if you have a hard time in the warrior position, on your knees, this is actually Yogi Bhajan in the Kundalini master who brought a lot of the school of thought, and I dabble in lots of different yoga styles, if you will, but this is said to be one of the best for youth and vitality. Okay, so it pumps our bellies, uses our arms. So the way it works, I'm going to do this on my knees, but if you need to stand up, you'll inhale. Now you're going to keep your ribs corseted. You don't ever want to flare open too exaggeratedly in something like this. Open my chest. And as I bend, I have all this ability to pull back through my belly. Okay? And on your knees, it actually will stimulate a little bit more around your lymph. So if you can go onto your knees, great. If you can't, stay standing. Really, honestly, do not let your ego rule you on this one. It's hard. And it's like you have to figure out how to do it efficiently. So listen to your body and what it says, and if you need a break, you take a break, you always come back. That's when you become stronger, okay? When you give yourself that break. Good, so you interlace your fingers behind, and it's Kundalini breathing again, so it's the inhales and the exhales that are a little sharper and more forceful in a way. Okay, ready when you are? Relax your face. Relax what you can here. What has to work and what doesn't. Remember, turn your eyes to the center at the sphenoid sinus cavity, between the brows, behind the root of your nose. And use those words, soot, nam, soot, nam, soot, nam, but it's silent to yourself. Inhale up, Mahabandha. Don't turn blue when you're ready. Exhale. No panicking allowed. Okay, if you panic a little bit, it's okay. Inhale, right, but we're going to learn how to overcome those moments of panic. Exhale. You could take child's pose if you feel like you need to, in any way, open up that back body. I don't know. Some people feel like they need to open up the front body after that. Let's take just a little bit of lateral movement. So you know what? Let's come to our sit bones. So Sukhasana. You could also go back to sitting on your blocks, okay? Interlace your fingers, press the palms in front of you. Reach the arms up. Keep the ribs corseted and lean a little bit to one direction. I went to the right. You can look down or you can look forward. Good. Inhale up. Interlace your fingers in the opposite way. Press the palms up and lean in the other direction. Looking down. Good. Inhale up. Unleash the fingers and bring the hands down. Breathe in and breathe out. Softening the eyes and the face and the tongue and the throat and the chest and the shoulders and the hips. Good. Cross one hand. Let's do the left hand to the right knee first. Good. On the inhale, reach your right arm up, and on the exhale, reach it behind you, but keep your hips forward. So both hips forward and together. Open your arm. You can keep your gaze forward. Reach the arm back up and lean it to the side, let gravity take you. Look down. Right. So if it feels like it would feel good to you to turn your palm up and rotate that humerus bone just a little bit in the socket, you might find there's some more stickiness around the intercostal of the serratus. Good. Excellent. So take your chin towards the armpit. Now, so you're looking towards your armpit, your chin closer to the right armpit. And let your left ear get heavy towards the left shoulder. Reach that arm back towards the ground and really reach through the fingertips as you let your left ear get heavier towards the shoulder. Turn your right palm up, so you're turning all the way up into the humerus or to the shoulder joint. Good. And anywhere, you can move your head anywhere in any angle that helps you find the right stretch for you. So wherever you're feeling. Nice and slow, you don't jerk your head and neck around in any of these positions. Good. I'm going to turn the palm down and then twist my arm in the opposite direction. You can even bring the palm back behind you. The palm facing out at the sacral joint is a wonderful, wonderful addition here. Good. And then when you're ready, bring the hands back out of the twist, the spine out of the twist, and just take a moment to feel the sensations between the two sides because they're always a little different. If you feel like you've lost integrity in your spine, you inhale, pull that navel center back, let it go, or you're lifting your pelvic floor, drawing this up and the throat back. All of that together can really give you some good stability, hopefully not to confuse you. Right hand reaches across, find the left knee. Left hand reaches straight up towards the ceiling. Take the lateral move first. You can look down at your right shoulder. Go ahead and come back up and just open that left arm, lengthening the spine up towards the ceiling. Open the left arm behind you, keep your gaze forward. Good. And go back up to the lateral move, chin towards the chest. Good. I'm going to turn the palm up. I'm just moving the arm bone, which may help you with the sheathing, right? The muscles move the bones, but the sheathing is what is the glue that holds the body together. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for the self-massage, because a lot of times just this stretching isn't going to get it all. We can't get into the belly of the connective tissue as it gathers and tightens around certain primary movement patterns that we hold, right? So the assumption that we have habits. Bring your chin towards the left ribs, or not left ribs, left armpit. Keep yourself grounded. I was feeling myself leaning. You want to stay somewhat upright on both sit bones and both knees relaxing towards the ground. Good. As you start to find the right ear towards the right shoulder, don't over grip with this right hand, but reach this left arm all the way back down. Moving your head and neck strategically, slowly, finding the correct lines for you. You can turn your arm bone. Right, same thing, other side, right? But it's never the same because we don't use the body symmetrically. So you'll expect and should probably find differences on each side. The palm can come back facing outward at the sacral joint. This may be a nice addition for you. Good. And then we'll unravel the twist with the hands, the spine, everything just kind of slowly comes back to the neutral. When you get back to the middle, if you move just a little bit in cat-cow or roll on your sit bones back and forth just a little bit, finding the neutral, reactivating your center. Hands come to the ground, press into it, press into the hands enough so that the elbows start to lengthen or straighten-ish, and then the heart center comes up. Those of you that feel like the butt would easily come up off the ground, maybe you can find your two knees here. One last back bend. Draw your throat back. Just don't drop the head back. Draw your throat back. And use the muscles all the way up the back body, the extensors, to open the front rather than up somewhere up at that cervical spine, giving up and just dropping it. Okay? Come back down. For those of you that want to build just a little bit of strength before we leave here, press into the ground. You're going to bring your knees up, squeeze them towards your chest, and see if you can lift your butt off the ground. If that's the case, maybe you can lift your feet off the ground. So you're just trying to hover your feet off the ground. Switch the angle. This is just to create some strength in those places that we were just stretching. Press into the ground, exhale. It's almost like you're going to scoop pelvic floor, draw the navel center, right, the mahabandha, the throat. And then if you lift and you feel like you could imagine lifting those feet off the ground. And I usually will do something like those little taps. Good. So it's just a little bit of lift can go a long way there. And then let that go. We're going to come to our backs. The block is for the possibility of having the legs up. So if your hamstrings are over tight, you might need to shift yourself to a wall. And then you get your butt up against the wall and the legs up. We're only going to do this for 2 minutes because I overspent our time in other places. But the block underneath the sacral joint, right? And then if it's okay for you to extend your legs up, what this does is this is just a version of shoulder stand that's passive. And the reason I want it to be passive now, here's shoulder stand if you wanted to go to up. But the reason I want this to be passive is because it's starting to take us into that deeper meditative place, right? The different brain waves are going to start to fire off. We're going for like the gamma. Okay, so as the legs are up, you'll let your body take a few minutes to acclimate, make sure that you feel like the block is in the right place and that you feel fully supported as you begin to let go. Remember, the chin should be about a mandarin orange size away from the chest. Soften the tongue, relax the eyes very deeply back into the sockets. And let's start to use our imagination for this rest of the class. Every inhale, I want you to see pure white light moving into your body, into the frontal lobe of the brain, right in that area where the pituitary lies. Pure white light starting to fill up around your brain and seeping into the folds of your brain. Option number 2 here, if you'd like, keeping your shoulders on the ground. If you want your arms to get the same effect as your legs, the reversal of gravity, probably the most important benefit here would be a break for your heart, right, the cardiovascular system. But it also is said if you have any type of endocrine issues, thyroid, pituitary, right, even diabetes is considered an endocrine system disease. So what you want to do is take and bring your legs up the wall at least 10 minutes a day. And you know, it's doing a lot of things to the physiology of the body. But first and foremost, we're reversing the effects of gravity. The arms should also be here almost stacked, like bones stacked, right? Strategically, they're balanced so they don't take a lot of musculature to hold up there. And this is a really good example of how the muscles move the bone, and then now the connective tissue is actually kind of holding it here. Check out your eyes. Can they equally soak back into the socket? How about the edges of your lips, the top? Can you sense the very middle of your lips on the top and any musculature that might be able to relax around the lines of your lips, the corners, the bottom of your lips? Let the tongue relax in the mouth, all the way at its root, relaxing back. Pure white light has filled up your whole entire skull, and now it is starting to follow the path of least resistance down the brainstem through this is the central nervous system, from the brain through the brainstem and all the way down your spine. As it moves down the spine, it starts to fill up these little estuaries that branch out, which is called our peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system has those 3 branches, well, 2 branches broken down into another subparts, the somatic and the the autonomic nervous system, which is broken down into parasympathetic and sympathetic, right? Go ahead and bring your arms and your legs down nice and slowly back to Shavasana. Shavasana, if you have any lumbar issues, a blanket, or back issues, a blanket or blocks underneath your thighs might serve you. If you're cold, you put on something on your feet. If you have something for your eyes, I didn't bring my jacket in, I guess.
It's over on this chair.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to suggest that you put something over your eyes. Let me do that a little quickly. When you do that, it gives the optical nerves a break. So they're firing off even if you have your eyes closed if there's light in the room. One reason you want to make sure you have a dark room when you sleep. As you close your eyes and or cover them, let the bag of bones go, right? Here, gravity assists us. There is no need for much muscle activation at all, only the breath, muscles of the breathing. So the diaphragm, maybe the intercostals moving the ribs, the clavicle bones moving the upper chest, that's it. And as it becomes very passive, those are happening in a very small, very passive way. So exhale through the mouth completely. And as you do that, feel how nice you can let go to the ground. Keep the breath out and seal those beautiful lips up. And as you hold the breath out, watch for the breath to come in through the nose. And here again, the pure white light is coming in right through the sphenoid sinus cavity, around the brain and down the pathway through the back, the central nervous system, the spine, and then out through the peripheral nervous system, filling white light, white pure light, through all the branches of your body, all the branches of your nervous system, filling all the way to the fingers and the toes, wrapping around your organs, in particular, tons of light around your heart. A very interesting part of the parasympathetic system, the vagus nerve, wraps all kinds of nerve endings around your gut as well. And this particular nerve also goes back up into the brain and gives the brain information. So it's not just the brain bringing the information to the heart and the gut, but also the relationship has been shown scientifically now that our heart and our gut give information to our brain. So imagine all of this health, this pure white light creating vitality and beautiful ability to communicate clearly with yourself. And in this, spend a little time feeling awe, feeling amazement, appreciation to the body and its miraculous abilities. Appreciation for you carving out the time. And then just spend the rest of the time enjoying how much you're glowing. You know, the light is flooded down the legs and into the feet, the toes, all around the pelvis. Feeling the tactile sensation on the ground, opening your ears to hear, and even noticing what your eyes see as the eyes are closed. And over again, with each and every breath, the dissolvent energy of Apana, when you exhale, allows you to continue to flow on. Right? And every time you exhale, you might think, go. And every time you inhale, you might think, let. So that every time you start to wander off and you forget about the miracle of you right here, right now, you come back to the words in your mind, let go. Physically, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. Letting go of our preconceived notions so that we open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities. last minute, peeling away any more layers that you can. Right? And there's really not an end to the amount of layers that we can relax into. It always has more. We always have another layer. So the last minute, what will you do with it? Now the last few breaths. The last few breaths in Shavasana. As light as you possibly can be, almost to the point where there's a possibility that you may feel like you're floating. You've allowed stillness. And sometimes the body's sensations become so at ease that they melt away, and it's almost like we no longer are the body. Maybe we're something much more than the body. The body is just a vehicle. A beautiful vehicle, one that is serving us quite well, especially if you made it to this yoga class today. You'll start to move. I like to offer pandiculating, so the skills of pandiculation are that you stiffen the arms and the legs. I usually will reach them out and start to stiffen. Sometimes my legs will move in directions, but stiffening the spine, you open your mouth and you yawn. Good. If you still have an eye pillow on as you're finished with your pandiculation, you'll move it, and we'll start to work our way to one of the sides. Remember, fetal position. Stop there before you lift yourself up. You want to go back to activating your core, and then use that to lift yourself up. So it's minimal on your shoulder and your arm, right? This is the way when we get to our core, and our core, especially the TVA, it's actually responsible for helping move your arms and your legs, also to empty your lungs and stabilize your spine. So it's an undertrained muscle that we really want to turn to so that it becomes second nature for us. And when you do that, you stop overusing your shoulders and your hips so much. The wrists and the elbows, the ankles and the knees. Good. And as you come to the seated position, stabilize your spine, as I have just spoken of. Bring your hands to heart. And this blessing is designed that you actually say this to yourself. You think this to yourself. It is as though when we are able to bless ourselves, we are able to do that for others. So imagine yourself in front of yourself, maybe even as that inner child, right? That child that you once were, or that is still inside of you. And as I say the words, I'll give you a brief moment to repeat them back to yourself in silence, okay? May the long-time sun shine upon you. May all love surround you. And may the pure light within you guide your way. We'll bow to ourselves. Namaste. Namaste. Very good. Thank you all for coming. Any business that you have to deal with me, I'll turn on the lights and we'll work towards that.
Kelly,
Yes, sir.
did you read about the woman who fell overboard of a cruise ship?
No?
And she survived singing and doing yoga
Sweet.
in the water.
Amen. Hours, yeah. I would be what I would turn to in any type of adversity. I would turn to my yoga.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
I
cool.
thought that was unique.
Where at?
I don't know where it was. I think it was off Italy, wasn't it? I think it was an Italian language.
Sweet. Thank you for sharing, because I don't watch the news very often, but I like to hear good news.